Maharashtra abbr.MH is a state in the western region of India and is India's third largest state by area and is also the world's second most populous subnational entity. It has over 110 million inhabitants and its capital, Mumbai, has a population of approximately 18 million. Nagpur is Maharashtra's second capital as well as winter capital. Maharashtra's business opportunities along with its potential to offer a higher standard of living attract migrants from all over India. Ancient and medieval Maharashtra included the empires of the Satavahana dynasty, Rashtrakuta dynasty, Western Chalukyas, Mughals and Marathas, spread over 118,809 square miles. It is bordered by the Arabian Sea to the west and the Indian states of Karnataka, Telangana, Goa, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and the Union Territory of Dadra and Nagar Haveli. The major rivers of the state are Godavari, Krishna, Narmada and Tapi. Maharashtra is the second most urbanized state in India. The state has several tourist destinations including the popular Hindu places of pilgrimage, Pandharpur, Dihu and Alandi. Other places that attract pilgrims from other parts of India and beyond include Hazur Sahib Gurdwara at Nanded and Sai Baba Shrine at Shirdi. Maharashtra is one of the wealthiest and the most developed states in India, contributing 25% of the country's industrial output and 23.2% of its GDP. As of 2011, the state had a per capita income of 1.0035 lakh rupees, more than the national average of 0.73 lakh rupees. Its GDP per capita crossed the 1.20 lakh rupees threshold for the first time in 2013, making it one of the richest states in India. However, as of 2014, the GDP per capita reduced to 1.03 lakh rupees. Agriculture and industries are the largest parts of the state's economy. Major industries include chemical products, electrical and non-electrical machinery, textiles, petroleum and allied products. Etymology: the modern Marathi language developed from the Maharashtri Prakrit, and the word Maratha is found in the Jain Maharashtri literature. The terms Maharashtra, Maharashtri, Marathi and Maratha may have derived from the same root. However, their exact etymology is uncertain. The Nashik Gazetteer states that in 246 BC Maharashtra is mentioned as one of the places to which Mauryan Emperor Ashoka sent an embassy, and Maharashtra is recorded in a Chalukyan inscription of 580 CE as including 3 provinces and 99,000 villages. But the Marathas as a people are not seen to be mentioned before the 13th to 14th century. The most widely accepted theory among the linguistic scholars is that the words Maratha and Maharashtra ultimately derive from a combination of Maha and Rashtrika. The word Rashtrika is a Sanskritized form of Rata, the name of a tribe or dynasty of petty chiefs ruling in the Deccan region. Another theory is that the term is derived from Maha and Ratha, Rathi, which refers to a skillful northern fighting force that migrated southward into the area. An alternative theory states that the term derives from the word Maha and Rashtra. However, this theory has not found acceptance among modern scholars who believe it to be the Sanskritized interpretation of later writers. History: Maharashtra was ruled by the Maurya Empire in the 4th and 3rd centuries BCE. Around 230 BCE, Maharashtra came under the rule of the Satavahana dynasty for 400 years. The greatest ruler of the Satavahana dynasty was Gautamiputra Satakani. In 90 CE, Vidashra, son of the Satavahana king Satakani, the lord of Dakshinapatha, wielded founder of the unchecked wheel of sovereignty, made Una, 30 miles north of Pune, the capital of his kingdom. The state was also ruled by western satraps, Gupta Empire, Gurjara Pratihara, Vakataka, Kadambas, Chalukya Empire, Rashtrakuta dynasty, and western Chalukya before finally, the Yadava rule. The Buddhist Ajanta caves in present-day Aurangabad display influences from the Satavahana and Vakataka style. The caves were possibly excavated during this period. The Chalukya dynasty ruled from the 6th century to the 8th century CE, and the two prominent rulers were Pulakshan II, who defeated the North Indian Emperor Harsha, and Vikramaditya II, who defeated the Arab invaders in the 8th century. The Rashtrakuta dynasty ruled Maharashtra from the 8th to the 10th century. The Arab traveller Suleiman described the ruler of the Rashtrakuta dynasty as one of the four great kings of the world. For the early 11th century to the 12th century, the Deccan Plateau, which includes a significant part of Maharashtra, was dominated by the Western Chalukya Empire and the Chola dynasty. Several battles were fought between the Western Chalukya Empire and the Chola dynasty in the Deccan Plateau during the reigns of Rajaraja Chola I, Rajendra Chola I, Jayasimha II, Samshwara I, and Vikramaditya VI. In the early 14th century, the Yadava dynasty, which ruled most of present-day Maharashtra, was overthrown by the Delhi Sultanate ruler Alauddin Khalji. Later, Muhammad bin Tughlaq conquered parts of the Deccan, and temporarily shifted his capital from Delhi to Aurangabad in Maharashtra. After the collapse of the Tughlaqs in 1347, the local Bahmani Sultanate of Gulbarga took over, governing the region for the next 150 years. After the breakup of the Bahmani Sultanate in 1518, Maharashtra split into 5 Deccan sultanates: Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar, Adil Shah of Bijapur, Kutan Shah of Golconda, Bidar Shah of Bidar, and Imad Shah of Alachpur. These kingdoms often fought with each other. United, they decisively defeated the Vijayanagara Empire of the south in 1565. The present area of Mumbai was ruled by the Sultanate of Gujarat before its capture by Portugal in 1535, and the Faruchi dynasty ruled the Khandesh region between 1382 and 1601 before finally getting annexed by the Mughal Empire. Malik Ambar, the regent of the Nizam Shahi dynasty of Ahmednagar from 1607 to 1626. Increased the strength and power of Murtaza Nizam Shah and raised a large army. Malik Ambar is said to have been a proponent of guerrilla warfare in the Deccan region. Malik Ambar assisted Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in Delhi against his stepmother Nur Jahan, who had ambitions of seating her son-in-law on the throne. By the early 17th century, Shahaji Bhosle, an ambitious local general who had served Ahmednagar Nizam Shahi, the Mughals, and Adil Shah of Bijapur at different periods during his career, attempted to establish his independent rule. His son Shivaji succeeded in establishing the Maratha Empire, which was further expanded during the 18th century by the Bhatt family Peshwas based in Pune, Bhonsle of Nagpur, Gakwad of Baroda, Holkar of Indore, Scindia of Gwalior. At its peak, the empire covered much of the subcontinent, encompassing a territory of over 2.8 million square kilometers. The Marathas are credited to a large extent for ending the Mughal rule in India. The Marathas defeated the Mughals, and conquered large territories in northern and central parts of the Indian subcontinent. After the defeat at the hand of Ahmad Shah Abdali's Afghan forces in the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761, the Maratha suffered a setback. However, the Marathas soon regained lost influence and ruled central and north India, including New Delhi, until the end of the 18th century. century. The Third Anglo-Maratha War led to the end of the Maratha Empire, and East India Company ruled the country in 1819. The Marathas also developed a potent navy circa 1660s, which at its peak dominated the territorial waters of the western coast of India from Mumbai to Savantwadi. It would engage in attacking the British, Portuguese, Dutch, and Sindhi naval ships and kept a check on the naval ambitions. The Maratha navy, dominated till around the 1730s, was in a state of decline by 1770s, and ceased to exist by 1818. India contains no more than two great powers, British and Maratha, and every other state acknowledges the influence of one or the other. Every inch that we recede will be occupied by them. The British governed western Maharashtra as part of the Bombay Presidency, which spanned an area from Karachi in Pakistan to northern Deccan. A number of the Maratha states persisted as princely states, retaining autonomy in return for acknowledging British suzerainty. The largest princely states in the territory were Nagpur, Satara, and Kolhapur. Satara was annexed to the Bombay Presidency in 1848, and Nagpur was annexed in 1853 to become Nagpur Province, later part of the Central Provinces. Berar, which had been part of the Nizam of Hyderabad's kingdom, was occupied by the British in 1853 and annexed to the Central Provinces in 1903. However, a large part called Marathwada remained part of the Nizam's Hyderabad state throughout the British period. The period of British rule was marked by social reforms and an improvement in infrastructure, as well as revolts due to the discriminatory policies. At the beginning of the 20th century, the struggle for independence took shape, led by nationalist extremists like Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, and the moderates like Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Feroz Mehta and Dadabhai Nauroji, who were all born in this region. After the partial autonomy given to the states by the Government of India Act of 1935, B.G. Kher became the first Chief Minister of the Congress Party-led government of trilingual Bombay Presidency. The ultimatum to the British during the Quit India movement was given in Mumbai and culminated in the transfer of power and independence in 1947. After India's independence, the Deccan states, including Kolhapur, were integrated into Bombay State, which was created from the former Bombay Presidency in 1950. In 1956, the States Reorganisation Act reorganised the Indian states along linguistic lines, and Bombay Presidency state was enlarged by the addition of the predominantly Marathi-speaking regions of Marathwada from erstwhile Hyderabad state and Vidarbha region from the central provinces, and Berar, the southernmost part of Bombay state, was ceded to Mysore. From 1954 to 1955, the people of Maharashtra strongly protested against bilingual Bombay state, and Samyukta Maharashtra Samiti, under the leadership of Gopal Rao Khedkar, was formed. The Mahagujarat movement was started, seeking a separate Gujarat state. Keshavrao Jethe S.M. Joshi, Shripad Amrudange, Pralhad Keshavatiari and other leaders fought for a separate state of Maharashtra with Mumbai as its capital under the banner of Samyukta Maharashtra movement. On the 1st of May 1960, following mass protests and 105 deaths, the separate Marathi-speaking state was formed by dividing earlier Bombay state into the new states of Maharashtra and Gujarat. The state continues to have a dispute with Karnataka regarding the region of Belgaum and Karwar. Geography and climate. Maharashtra occupies the western and central part of the country and has a long coastline stretching 840 kilometers along the Arabian Sea. One of the more prominent physical features of Maharashtra is the Deccan Plateau, which is separated from the Konkan coastline by Ghats. The Ghats are a succession of steep hills periodically bisected by narrow roads. Most of the famous hill stations of the state are at the Ghats. The Western Ghats provide a physical backbone to the state on the west, while the Satpura Hills along the north and Bamragad-Kairoli-Gaikuri ranges on the east serve as its natural borders. The state is surrounded by Gujarat to the northwest, Madhya Pradesh to the north, Chhattisgarh to the east, Telangana to the southeast, Karnataka to the south and Goa to the southwest. Maharashtra is the third largest state by area in India. Its coastline is 840 kilometers long along the Arabian Sea. The Western Ghats, better known as Sahyadri, are a hilly range running parallel to the coast at an average elevation of 1,200 meters. Kalsabai, a peak in the Sahyadri near Nashik city, is the highest elevated point in Maharashtra. To the west of these hills lie the Konkan coastal plains, 50 to 80 kilometers in width. To the east of the Ghats lies the flat Deccan Plateau. Forests comprise 17% of the total area of the state. A majority of the forests are in the eastern and Sahyadri regions of the state. The main rivers of the state are Krishna, Bhima, Godavari, Tapi, Purna and Wada. Since the central parts of the state receives low rainfall, most of the rivers in the region have multiple dams. Maharashtra has around 1821 notable large dams. Maharashtra is divided into 5 geographic regions. Konkan is the western coastal region, between the Western Ghats and the sea. Khandesh is the northwestern region lying in the valley of the Tapti River. Jalgaon, Dhule and Bhusawal are the major cities of this region. Desh is in the center of the state. Marathwada, which was a part of the princely state of Hyderabad until 1956, is located in the southeastern part of the state. Aurangabad and Nanded are the main cities of the region. Vidarbha is the easternmost region of the state, formerly part of central provinces, and Nagpur, where the winter session of the state assembly is held, and Amravati are the main cities in the region. Sahyadri Range, with an elevation of 1,000 meters, is known for its crowning plateaus. Lying between the Arabian Sea and the Sahyadri Range, Konkan is narrow coastal lowland, just 50 kilometers wide and with an elevation below 200 meters. The third important region is the Satpura Hills along the northern border, and the Bamragad-Kairoli-Gaikuri ranges on the eastern border, which form physical barriers preventing easy movement. These ranges also serve as natural limits to the state. Maharashtra has typical monsoon climate, with hot, rainy and cold weather seasons. However, dew, frost and hail also occur sometimes, depending upon the seasonal weather. The winter in January and February is followed by summer between March and May, and the monsoon season between June and September. Summers are extreme, with March, April and May as the hottest months. During April and May, thunderstorms are common all over the state. Temperature varies between 22 degrees Celsius and 39 degrees Celsius during this season. Rainfall starts normally in the first week of June. July is the wettest month in Maharashtra, while August also gets substantial rain. Monsoon starts its retreat with the coming of September to the state. Winter season is a cool, dry spell, with clear skies, gentle breeze. Pleasant weather prevails from November to February, but the eastern part of Maharashtra sometimes receives some rainfall. Temperature varies between 12 degrees Celsius and 34 degrees Celsius during this season. Rainfall in Maharashtra differs from region to region. Thane, Raigad, Ratnagiri and Sindhudurg districts receive heavy rains of an average of 200 cm annually, but the districts of Nashik, Pune, Ahmednagar, Dhule, Jalgaon, Satara, Sangli, Solapur and parts of Kolhapur get rainfall less than 50 cm. Rainfall particularly concentrates at the Kingaon and Sahyadri in Maharashtra. Central Maharashtra receives less rainfall. However, under the influence of the Bay of Bengal, eastern Vidarbha receives good rainfall in July, August and September. Biodiversity. Flora of Maharashtra is heterogeneous in composition. In 2012, the recorded thick forest area in the state was 61,939 square kilometers, which was about 20.13% of the state's geographical area. There are three main public forestry institutions in the Maharashtra state: the Maharashtra Forest Department, the Forest Development Corporation of Maharashtra, and the Directorate of Social Forestry. The flora of regions such as Nag region formed by Nagpur, Bandara, Chandrapur and Gadchiroli, and the plateau of Vidarbha composed by Wardha, Amravati, Javatmal, Akola and Budhana districts. Most of the forests are found in the Sahyadri region and are very dense. These forests are confined to areas which have low annual rainfall, a mean annual temperature of 25 to 27 degrees Celsius and low humidity. Some of the forest areas are converted into wildlife reserves, thus preserving the biodiversity. Maharashtra is known for its extensive avifauna. The state has 3 game reserves, as well as several national parks and bird sanctuaries. Wild sanctuaries in the state include Radhangari Wildlife Sanctuary, or Wildlife Sanctuary, Koina Wildlife Sanctuary, Chandoli National Park, Sanjay Gandhi National Park and Modi Wildlife Sanctuary. The most common animals are found in the state are tigers, black panthers, leopards, gaur, sloth bears, sambar, four-headed antelope, bluebull, chital, barking deer, mouse deer, civet cats, jackals, jungle cats, striped hyena, and hare. Other animals in the state include reptiles such as lizards, cobras and kraits. The national parks of Maharashtra possess a variety of plant species that include jamun, pallas, shisam, neem, teak, dewalda, kalam, ain, bija, shirish, mangard, acacia, awala, kadamba, maha, terminalia, hedu and ficus. Regions, divisions and districts. Maharashtra consists of 6 administrative divisions: Amravati, Aurangabad, Kingaon, Nagpur, Nashik, Pune. The state's 6 divisions are further divided into 36 districts, 109 subdivisions and 357 talukas. Maharashtra's top 5 districts by population, as ranked by the 2011 census, are listed in the following table. Each district is governed by a district collector, a district magistrate, appointed either by the Indian Administrative Service of the Maharashtra Civil Service. Districts are subdivided into subdivisions, governed by subdivisional magistrates, and again into blocks. A block consists of panchayats and town municipalities. Talukas are intermediate-level panchayat between the Zilla panchayat at the district level and Gram panchayat at the LA level. Demographics. According to the provisional results of the 2011 national census, Maharashtra is the second most populous state in India, with a population of 112,374,333, of which male and female are 58,243,056 and 54,131,277, respectively. The total population growth in 2011 was 15.99%, while in the previous decade it was 22.57%. Since independence, the decadal growth rate of population has remained higher than the national average. For the first time in the year 2011, it was found to be lower than the national average. The 2011 census for the state found 55% of the population to be rural, with 45% being urban-based. The state has a large number of Uttar Pradesh diaspora. Marathas comprise the majority of the population. Bihari, Gujarati, Sindhis, Punjabis, Parsis, Marwari, Kannada and Tamil minorities are scattered throughout the state. The 2011 census found scheduled castes and scheduled tribes to account for 11.8% and 8.9% of the population respectively. The scheduled tribes include Adivasis such as Thakur, Walai, Kingana and Halba. According to the 2011 census, Hinduism was the principal religion in the state at 77.8% of the total population, while Muslims constituted 13.5% of the total population. Buddhism accounted for 5.8% in Maharashtra's total population, with 6,531,200 followers, which is 77% of all Buddhists in India. Sikhs, Christians and Jains constituted 0.2%, 1.0%, 1.2% of the population respectively. The state contributed 9.28% to India's population. The sex ratio in Maharashtra was 925 females per 1,000 males, which was below the national average of 940. The density of Maharashtra was 365 inhabitants per square kilometre, which was lower than national average 382 per km2. Since 1921, the populations of Ratnagiri and Sindhudurg shrank by -4.96% and -2.30% respectively, while the population of Thane grew by 35.9%, followed by Pune at 30.3%. The literacy rate rose to 83.2%. Of this, male literacy stood at 89.82% and female literacy 75.48%. The official language is Marathi, although different regions have their own dialects. English is applicable in urban areas. Spoken Marathi language varies by district, area and locality in its tone and a few words. Kingani and Gujarati is also spoken in some areas. Other major dialects include Varhadi, spoken in the Vidarbha region, and Dangi, spoken near the Maharashtra-Gujarat border. Alphabet L is abundantly used in many verbs and nouns in Marathi. It is replaced by the letter Y in the Varhadi dialect, which makes it quite distinct. According to the Economic Survey of Maharashtra, the percentage of the state's population that names Marathi as its mother tongue has declined to 68.8% from 76.5% over the past 3 decades, while there has been a sharp rise in the Hindi-speaking population in the same period.